Good morning, this is the Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to season 3 and episode number 225 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Today, recording day is Moon Day, October 9th. I believe it's Gobblefest Day. Isn't it, Mr. Grizzly?
Yeah, that's one thing to call it, sure.
That's my best turkey for you. So, for those of you who are observing, or well, happy Thanksgiving. If you've had your dinner already over the course of the weekend with friends and family and loved ones, or having it tonight, I hope that it was filled with love and laughter and lots of good vibes. Yours truly had a solo Thanksgiving. Beaver Sweetie went off to visit family, and just like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, COVID, the one where I stayed home because Omicron, or was Delta, I think, that was like going crazy, and the vaccines had just come out before Christmas, and they hadn't, supposedly it's 2 weeks before they take full effect. So I decided to stay home because I wanted to be a little more careful. And I remember that year while I was sitting at home, I was like missing them, and I'm thinking like, well, yes, but you chose this, Douglas. So I mean, right? But I still missed him, and it was the same thing. I was like, he drove off, and he wasn't even down the end of the road, and it's like, I miss him already. It's like, oh man, you're whipped. And then about like as soon as I thought that, I wrote something about it like this, and then he calls and goes, I miss you already. So I say, yes, equally whipped on both ends.
Well,
But yesterday I was out and I did a little bit of groceries because I was going to make myself a nice dinner. And as I was in the grocery store, I had that little pang of loneliness similar to the one I had at Christmas. And again, it's like, Doug, you chose this.
yeah.
So I decided to be thankful that I had people that I loved enough to miss.
Uh, I was going to go with a different route on that, but sure,
Yeah.
that works. I was going to go with, look, here come the consequence.
Consequence. No, that's what I mean. You just, no, I chose this. Opening night is Friday. When you add, a lot of people may not know it, or well, if you're with the show for a while, you might know it, but I identify as being pretty much an introvert. So this back to school has had a lot of people, like a lot of people, because there's choir and then there's this
Mm.
musical and then there's curling and tennis is still on and uh,
Tennis is still on. It's
tennis
6
is still on.
degrees.
I played yesterday.
Yee.
um,
Yee.
so I know.
Indoor,
Where is
maybe, but outdoor? Yee.
outdoor? Um, so it's just been a lot of people
Mm.
all at once, and then this week there's going to be people every damn day because of the show, and there's a lot of people in the show. So it was neat. It was self-care. I was overstimulated. So the alone time was good, but it's just really weird that sometimes you make a decision for self-care and you're going to miss out, and even as it does happen, you think, oh darn, I wish I was there. But I wished
Mm.
I was there for like about 20 minutes, and then the moment was gone. And well, no, not
Yeah.
not in a
No,
bad
I
way,
understand.
not in a bad way, but the pang was gone. It's like I
No, no,
accepted
I
it.
get it.
And we phoned in while they were having their meal, and we had a little toast to Thanksgiving. So I met up with the family and we got to visit for a little bit, which was really nice. And again, there was my sweetie who called and said, "Hey, we're all here." It's like, thank you so much. So I am loved, and they are loved, and they know. And I'm very, very, very lucky fellow to have a family that loves me and understands when I need to. Sorry, not this time. It's
Yeah,
really
no,
not
no, no.
personal.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Uh,
I
how
get
how
it.
about you? How have
I
things gone?
understand. Good. Saturday? Friday? Saturday? Jeez, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Saturday, we went out for date night and we went to Irene's to see Sneezy Waters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I went over to Bridget's place to pick her up, and I was like literally dragging my butt because I was so tired because I had a super busy day running all over the city, picking up things, getting things done. And I was like ready to go to sleep right away. We get to the show, and within about 30 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I got my second win. I'm good for the rest of the night. She's like, really? I'm really tired. So yeah, it was kind of funny, but we had a good time. And then yesterday, I did some more running around, got some stuff done. We did some recording yesterday. I
Yep.
still have some editing to do, obviously, and then went to my sister's place for dinner, and it was a good time. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, we were
yeah,
ridiculously productive yesterday, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, we've been recording some new ads, kits, some new ads. Just showing a little leg.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
All right. I don't know if I got through the full intro. I know that I said the date, but I don't think I thanked the sponsors yet. So let's thank the sponsors: the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, CanadianTarot.com, and the Peppermaster. As you've all heard, of course, Kits, my good friend Mr. Grizzly is here. I'm gonna guess your mental health is doing okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% yet, but I'm
Mhm.
doing far better today than I have in the last, well, probably the last couple of weeks. In all honesty, yeah, no, I'm doing much, much, much better. I'm not there yet, but I can see the finish line. It's in sight, you know.
All right.
So yeah, doing much better.
Okay. Good, good. And good morning to you, Kit Hugh and Kit Saucy and Kit Linda M. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving morning. And Miss Sadeka, lovely to see you as well. I could have let Mateo video chat with you while you were at your dinner so you weren't so long. Oh, that would have been super sweet.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that are sleeping in today.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, I didn't even know. I wasn't sure we were doing a show because I wrote you last night, but I think you might have checked out for the night before you saw it.
Yeah, I
Like
did.
this, I says, "Oh, by the way, are we doing a show?" And didn't get an answer, and I didn't see you put up any links last night. So I went to bed, and I'm thinking, like, do I put the alarm on or not? Because the night before, I was in bed really, really early, but yesterday, I had a second wind. Like I don't even know if the first wind ever actually ended. Like, but it was
Mm.
2 o'clock in the morning, and I was still up and had like good energy, well, good to go. And says, "You need to get to bed." So I did, but I wasn't sure. So I decided to put the alarm on. Because normally I'm awake before the alarm, but today I was not, and it rang, and I let it ring for about like a minute, and then I turned around and grabbed it because normally my Beaver sweetie's in bed. And so I'd like jump on it because it wakes him up too. But I let it ring and then I looked at it and I saw links in the email and it's like, uh, I don't know, man. Maybe you're doing this one alone. No, I'll get up. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get up. Yeah. I put it on snooze for 10 minutes just in case I happened to fall asleep again because it took me a while to get my head up off that pillow.
I understand. Believe me, I had difficulty waking up this morning too. So.
Yeah, but only because it was a short night. Actually, but I'm feeling pretty chipper considering maybe maximum 3.5 hours. But I was just ridiculously energetic yesterday, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, I was all weekend super energetic during the day. And ordinarily, when the weather is dreary, gray, drizzly,
Right?
cold, I don't want to get out of bed. But I had the energy, and I'm like, I have it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to get things done. And I did. I didn't get everything done. I've got today to finish up some stuff. So, progress.
Yeah, exactly.
One foot in front of the other, keep moving forward.
Yeah. And yesterday was weird. Was a weird day. Like there was weird stuff happening. First, there was one of the ads we recorded. For some reason on the playback,
there's a ghost.
There's a ghost, and it's in my house.
Yeah.
It appears because your mic was on mute.
Yeah.
But when we played it back, for some reason, even though there's only me and I was sitting right here with my hands right here,
you could hear this sort of sound.
Yeah.
Like a spoon in a bowl or something. It's like you hear it twice, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
That was weird.
I'm like, you have a ghost in your house, you know that? Somebody's eating cereal or something.
Yeah, and somebody suggested the Poltergeist, and it's like, that's the movie that kept me up as a kid.
You suggested Poltergeist, not me.
I know, but there's a whole generation, right, for whom it's The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It's like that one they slept with the lights on like for months. Me, it was Poltergeist. I'm sorry, that clown under the bed. Sorry.
Yeah, and I just noticed that there is a certain internet service provider who is fiddling with that, if you will. There's a guy having a nightmare. He's obviously dreaming. He turns and he looks, and there's a clown, an evil clown in his house, and is chasing him up the stairs. And he wakes up and he says, I just dreamt we had such and such internet. And his wife rolls over and looks, and she's got the clown makeup on it. She goes, but we've always had that. Then he wakes up from it and realizes that it's another service provider. I'm like, yeah, that's the Poltergeist thing. That's what they're playing on.
Oh, man. So, yeah. So then I go and I do some groceries because I'm thinking, okay, tonight I'm going to feast for myself. Brand new credit card. Brand new.
Right.
Okay. Because one of them disappeared in May somehow. And I put a hold on it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, let's try this, just doing it direct from my bank account and see how that works. And it kind of works, but it doesn't. There's all these, you have these packages on your bank account. And when I was doing that, thinking interact, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going over my monthly transactions, which puts a fee. And it's like, well, that's not great. I mean, who wants to pay $20 to access their money? So I thought that's not good. So I ended up eventually ordering another card. For some reason, I had to order it like 3 times before they sent it to me. Thank you, TD. Again, first the mortgage like 2.5 years ago. You guys just vanished when we applied for it, and now I try to get a replacement card and have to call 3 times and hunt it down.
You got
anyway,
going on.
I take the card. I'm at the bank. Not the bank. I'm at the grocery store. I put the card in. Declined. It's a brand new card. Nothing has been charged on it since May.
Wow.
On my account. Brand new card. Because I called them. I'm on the phone with them for about like 45 minutes at the checkout line, and they're telling me like this that my card has been stopped because there's a past due payment. And I'm trying to explain to them, how could there be a past due payment on a card that has not been active since May? How could there be a past due payment for July? I did not have a card to charge anything. with.
Somebody's missed a decimal point somewhere. It seems.
So they eventually fixed it for me. And so there was just like little weird stuff like that all day long, just ghosts in the machine for some reason. So
It happens.
yeah, it was a weird day. Anyway, we survived it. It seems
That's
that if
good.
I have ghosts, they're friendly, or at least they're not harmful
Well,
yet. But I'm not interacting with them.
no, just leave them.
Well,
be.
that's the thing. If there's one thing I learned from those horror movies that has anything kind of supernatural, is like if there's like some dimension right here over your shoulder and they're like doing things, it's like, hi dudes, yeah, okay, you guys are there. I'm here.
I'm here.
I will do nothing to chase you out of this place. You guys can stay here. You just don't cross over into my rim and we'll be fine. That's like, I won't disturb your thing. You don't disturb my thing. We can coexist. Trust me. I'm good with it.
Yeah, we'll leave the spirits be.
Yeah, I have no desire. Even
It
nowadays.
It is October after
Yeah.
all.
Well, because those are the movies that scare me the most, right? It's the ones where you don't know, like Ouija boards. Could that happen?
Yeah.
Could that? It's like I don't even like if the movie has a Ouija board, it's like I'm out of there. It's just I don't want to see.
None of that troubles me.
No. That's just weird. Poltergeist, Ouija boards, possessions, things like that. That's some absolute weird thing like Saw or something like that doesn't freak me out so much. That's almost just more gross. But the things that it's like, is demonic possession actually possible? Are there really ghosts?
None of it freaks me out.
That stuff I don't want to mess around.
There was a time when I was freaked out by it, but I eventually got over it, and none of it bothers me. None of it.
All right, kids.
I got something for you to start the day. This is well, this kind of speaks for itself. I'm going to show you the initial tweet. I'm going to show you one follow-up, and then I'm going to change pages to show you something else. So here's the initial tweet from former Premier of Alberta, Mr. Useless, zero legislation policy maker, Jason Kenney.
Yeah.
PM Trudeau was quick to condemn COVID policy protesters as Nazis. That's not what took place.
No.
He recently condemned parental rights protesters as hate mongers.
He didn't do that either. But today, thousands of Canadians brandishing flags of banned terrorist groups openly celebrated the massacre of Jews, and the PM hasn't said a word. Okay, now before we get to the initial tweet that showed me this one, I want to go down to this one from Suburban Polly. Go F yourself, Kenny. You stripped dying gay men of any rights way back when. You cheated to win. You have no moral high ground. I'm going to go with Suburban Polly on that one. I am too, because I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
But you do not, of all the people in this damn country, you who were talking about outing kids a few years ago with the GSA stuff, you closet case, you do not
nope.
get. This is not your comeback moment, sister. Back in your frickin' hole.
Yeah. Well, in this one, former Premier Jason Kenney lambasted Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for a lack of a statement on Israel and Hamas. Here was a statement made several hours before Jason Kenney's tweet.
Yep.
The images we have seen from Israel are horrifying and shocking. As we continue to learn more about the scale and brutality of these attacks, we extend our deepest condolences to everyone affected. Our hearts break for the hundreds of innocent people whose lives have been taken. Now, remember that, hundreds of innocent people. The death toll has since risen to 1,100. So this gives you an idea of how soon that he tweeted this. Mm-hmm. Canada unequivocally condemns Hamas' barbaric, brutal terror attacks and reaffirms its support for Israel's right to defend itself. We also call for the immediate release of those being held hostage, and we demand that they be treated in accordance with international law. To our Israeli friends, Canadians stand with you, and our government stands ready to support you. Our support for Israel is steadfast. Please read my full statement on the recent attacks against Israel.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're not going to touch on the Israel thing right now, because I want to save that later on the show. But this Jason Kenney thing, okay?
Any conservatives willing to jump all over if they think they can score a point.
Yep.
And here, he own goaled himself because this had been made hours prior.
Jason Kenney sent his at 8:26 p.m.
hmm
and the Prime Minister sent his out at 6:32 p.m.
So,
Now,
well, 2 hours almost.
yeah. Now the first thing about that one is that, gee, I'm sort of going there. I don't want to go there just yet. So yeah, Jason Kenney, wrong time, wrong subject. Again, lies, big
Yeah,
time
yeah.
lies. Never condemned COVID policy protesters as Nazis, but
No, he didn't
did
either.
make a point to kind of
No.
suggest that when the Nazi and Confederate flags show up, you should know it's time to go home.
Yeah.
If you don't want that associated with your message. So at the end, because you're getting a lot of comments, right? You know, it goes, "Oh yeah, look how fast he took it. He took down the bank accounts of peaceful protesters." Or like, okay, by the time the bank accounts were seized, it had been about 3 weeks
hmm
since the Nazi flags and the Confederate flags showed up, and those were the people who still didn't know better than to leave
Not to
at that
mention the
point.
fact that they had 72 hours of warning. 72
Yeah.
hours. Leave. If you don't leave, you will be arrested.
Okay.
Saturday, this is taking place. If you do not leave, you will be arrested.
At that point,
Your bank accounts will be
yes.
seized.
At that point, it's been a long time since you've been a peaceful protester.
Yeah,
Because
3 weeks. Yeah.
you have been occupying a city and taking about 100,000 people in the immediate vicinity hostage, a whole bunch
That's
of
right.
other people hostage because they can't get to medical appointments, can't get to the work, can't cross town. You
Yeah.
use proven torture techniques upon them, do all that kind of stuff. The movement was not peaceful. By that time, nearly 4 weeks in, that was not peaceful. Yesterday, we saw those displays that Mr. Kenney is talking about. They were cars and trucks, regular cars and trucks, yes, honking, for about an hour and a half or 2. And some people were already asking, "Where's the damn Emergency Act?"
Yeah.
What, 'cause they're brown? I mean, listen, you like the display, you don't like the display. That's one thing, right? But for
Mhm.
people that were totally supportive of this convoy movement, to allow that to go on for 4 weeks almost, and still
Yeah,
now,
almost 4
over a
weeks.
year later, sitting there and trying to minimize the whole damn thing by comparing people who are cheering for something or may not be cheering for something. I don't know what their motivations are. This is another subject, like the Nazi subject and the Ukrainian Galician unit, and like the history of the India and Punjab thing. I'm not versed. I'm not versed. But you had all these people rushing out once again with the hot take. Like, it's sort of like, have we
Mhm.
just not done this twice already? It's like, this is not a time for hot takes.
Well, you remember the folks screaming, "Why didn't he just come out and talk to them?" Well,
Right.
let's cite what he said. They did not want to be negotiated with. They wanted to be obeyed. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Also, if you recall, just the other day, a convoy freedom protester, I don't know if he was with the convoy, but a freedom protester, if you will, and I don't know what freedom they're protesting because we haven't lost any, did confront the prime minister head to head, face on. And did he have a conversation with him? No, he didn't. He screamed in his face. He swore at him. He said all kinds of really terrible things, and you wonder why he didn't go out and talk to the protesters.
Mm.
There's your reason. They do not want to be listened to. They do not want to be negotiated with. They won't listen to you. They want to be obeyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was it in a nutshell.
Yep.
And I know because I lived
Yep.
it. I was there.
Yep. Kit Hugh, I saw that you're here this morning. If you check your Twitter, I sent you a link if you would like to join us this morning because you have some historical knowledge that you might be able to share that could be helpful. So if ever you do, just click on it and come in and join us. We'd love to hear from you.
So I got to show you
Okay.
something else. This one is from Alec.
Okay.
Just another tweet. It's right in line.
I know. I'm trying to go somewhere, but okay, go ahead.
It's Alex Pearson. You know who she is?
Yes.
Well, this is like she's gone right
Yep.
down the rabbit
Yes,
hole.
yes.
I don't even know if I want to read what she typed.
Okay, huh?
Yeah. Look, I'll read it, but please don't lambaste me for me repeating somebody else's.
Why this is
reading.
not even
Please.
like relevant? Why?
I know this is what Alex Pearson. Alex Pearson is former TV journalist, reporter, City TV Global, blah 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 blah. Now she has the Alex Pearson Show on AM 640 in Toronto, and this is what she tweeted yesterday. I know period month is big, but Justin Trudeau, Melanie Joly, can you kindly take your heads from your rear and speak up on Israel? Many have family there, and many Canadians are trying to get out. My friend Maggie May, Kalinas Aaron. Perhaps it took him a minute because he was being briefed on the situation. You know he has a security clearance, unlike your buddy who can't get one. What is period month, please? Explain that to me. And why has Alex Pearson's gone full MAGA QAnon? She's lost her shit. Completely lost it. Like, what the hell, lady?
Jeez.
Yeah, pretty harsh, eh?
Right? Makes no sense.
I know. I don't get it. It's like, what the hell is going on?
That's
What a skin tag of a human being.
oh my God.
There was a point in time when I respected her work, when she was a journalist who reported stuff. Now she's just a mouthpiece for the reformers. She's just a mouthpiece for the Reform Party. And I'm not going to call them the Conservatives anymore because they're not. They're the Reform Party with a different name.
That's just weird. I'm trying to look for the tweet so that I can see what the timestamp was on that.
Hang on, I get it. It was 9:25 a.m. October 7th.
Okay, so October 7th, 9:20. Like, come on, man.
Wasn't that seconds after it happened?
Yes. That's the Okay, here's the situation, right? We have a lot of people in Canada that are of Jewish heritage, and we have a lot of people in Canada that are of Palestinian heritage or
Mhm.
Middle Eastern heritage and relate with the Palestinian cause. Something terrible like this happens. Of course, the people of these backgrounds who live here, who probably still have family and loved ones that they love and care about very much, who live in that area, are going to be the first out and say, "Oh my God, I have family there. This is terrible. Prime Minister, say something." Well, remember that we have the Prime Minister of all Canadians, and there are Canadians of Jewish background, there are Canadians of Middle Eastern background.
Right.
They're both asking the Prime Minister to say something. Right? This thing just happened. I mean, even Israel and their intelligence and their security forces, special secret service type security forces, are legendary. They got caught off guard. Israel got caught off guard. You expect the
Yeah.
Prime Minister of Canada to have a hot take seconds after it happens? That's not what's going on. Everybody's calling each other. The phones are going crazy. He's on the phone with all the Five Eyes partners, with other partners, people in the region. He's on the phone with the military. What do we want? What we have to do?
Mhm.
He's on phone with people from the UN, from NATO, from there are cabinet
And before he
briefings.
can say anything, he needs to have a clear, concise understanding of what is going on, so you don't
Yes,
say the wrong
yes,
thing.
and particularly if you don't want to go to a camera and say, "Well, Israel has a right to defend itself, and we always support Israel, but the people of Palestine have definitely also had it tough. We'll have to wait and see." Because if you just want like something empty like that, that's pretty much the only thing you can say. Oh my God, this is a terrible thing. Our hearts are with everybody that's going suffering. Like this war is just a terrible thing. Because if you want something with a little more meat than that, because if you come out with that and say, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. That was just such a boilerplate and pablum and blah, blah. Right. Of course, he's never going to make anybody happy here on this one.
No.
But like, what? Because the prime minister in a situation where the country that was attacked, if we're looking at just this particular moment, didn't even see it coming and got caught off guard. And the whole world has to get together and talk and find out, like, well, first of all, what the heck's going on? How this happened? What's our initial response first? That's
this is
going
the
to
thing.
take a few hours, right? And because the fact that it's not done on your schedule
Oh, you know.
does not mean. Now, I understand if you have friends and family there, of course you want something done as fast as humanly possible. But there are certain things that only time can do. And if you don't want a country to rush out there, chin up, ass out, with a hot take, like a lot of these journalists
Mhm.
are having hot take, and these pundits right now, a lot of them that are not going to age well, because there's something to be said about the benefit of taking a bit of time to make sure you have something somewhat intelligent and meaningful to say. So we got journalists like Joe Warmington taking what's going on here when the people are coming or honking and going, this kind of honking and these kind of trucks are okay in Justin Trudeau's Canada, where people celebrate the slaughter of innocent civilians whose slain bodies were paraded. No emergency act, arrests, horses, bank accounts frozen, just full support from political leaders. Evil. The people in these videos in Canada, like in parking lots, honking, waving Palestinian flags,
Mhm.
you may not like what it is that they're protesting or celebrating, or what it is that you think they're protesting and celebrating, because I'm sure you didn't go over there and ask them why it is they're there. So
Yeah.
you're assuming that all of them are celebrating, quote, the slaughter of innocent civilians whose slain bodies were paraded. Maybe that is so. Maybe that's not. I don't know enough about the issue to be able to tell you. But you are sure making the assumption that that's what it is pretty damn quickly, and I'm sure you didn't talk to them. They're regular cars and trucks honking a little bit within hours of it being started, and they're having they're using their right to gather, to have a protest,
Mhm.
and they are using their freedom of expression to protest,
Yes.
but they're using it to say something you don't like or you find horrific. Gee, that's pretty much exactly what happened, isn't it? But just the other way around. In
Yeah,
Ottawa, wasn't
interesting
it?
how that works,
Yes.
yeah.
But you want emergency act, arrests, horses, bank accounts frozen within hours. And by tweeting that, clearly you're still upset and think that shouldn't have been done after 4 weeks. And the only difference between these two groups of people is the message you don't like it,
hmm
and the fact that, well, they're not white and they practice a different religion. Now, again, and here's the thing. Rupa published something yesterday.
Oh God, I can't.
But
Even.
here's the thing. She had 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph, perfect.
Oh, really?
As distasteful as it is to see some Canadians cheering for Hamas, if that's all they're doing and not inciting hatred or actively supporting a terrorist group, say through financing, this should be protected speech. This is not a path we should be going down. Tomorrow, they'll try to censor those of us who support Israel. It never ends, slippery slope. Yes. And that's where she should have stopped.
Of course, that's she couldn't.
She was
stop there.
quoting John Ivison saying, interested in an informed legal opinion, could Section 319, subsection 1, I guess, of the Criminal Code, inciting hatred against an identifiable group be used to arrest Hamas supporters in Canada celebrating the attack on Israel? No uninformed what about musings. Thanks. So the white conservatives are already asking, gee, now, when it was the white alleged Christians, when it was revealed in cabinet that cabinet were talking about whether or not they should invoke the Emergency Act or what would be needed in case this devolves to a point where the Emergency Act would be required. They were like, oh my God, can you believe it? They were talking about the Emergency Act right away. They were just looking for an excuse. They were just, but after 3 hours, can we not use it? Can we not arrest them already? Because they're celebrating something I don't agree with. But if they are celebrating something you don't agree with, but doing it in accordance with the law, why are you trying to have them arrested? Because you don't like their expression. And let's be very careful here. I'm not saying I support what it is that they are expressing. It's their right to express it if it is done in accordance with the law. Which the people that January did not do.
They didn't do anything within accordance of the law. They occupied the city. They took it over. They committed assaults. They tortured us. They committed crimes. They defecated in the streets. None of it was peaceful.
None of it was peaceful.
None of it was peaceful to the point where the division I work in. So I work for a company that I'm contracted to, a Crown Corp. The Crown Corp that I work for, who I'm not employed by, I'm a contractor to them. We are basically the United Nations, the division I'm in. We're tech support, right? And the office had been closed because of COVID, and they just reopened it. And we were having a meeting on a Monday morning, as we always do. Or sorry, a Monday afternoon. My apologies, a Monday afternoon. And a few people, the big boss was saying, maybe we can go into the office. And I just said, no, please stop. Do not go into the office. I'm begging you, don't go in. Look, I can walk amongst them because I look like them. They won't pay a second's attention to me. But you're BIPOC, my whole crowd. Not to mention there's members of the LGBTQ plus community in my division. If you go down there, they're going to know who you are, and you will be harassed. And I would shudder to think, that perhaps some harm could come to you. So I'm begging you, please do not go into the office. So thankfully, they heeded my words, and nobody went in, and nobody was harmed. Thank goodness. And then they ended up shutting the office for the next 3 weeks because, well, trying to get down there was next to impossible. So everybody just stayed home and worked from home. And I was like, thank you. Please don't go in there. Please don't go in there. It's dangerous. You can feel it in the air. And at me, as a cis het white male, I could feel it in the air. Now, if I can feel it, what is somebody who, doesn't look like me going to feel? How comfortable would they be in a situation such as that? So it was not peaceful. It was not a protest. It was an occupation and an attempt to overthrow the democratically elected government.
Exactly. So, first paragraph again. As distasteful as it is to see some Canadians cheering for Hamas, if that's all they're doing and not inciting hatred or actively supporting a terrorist group, say through financing, like say give send go campaigns, where foreign money even came in, maybe perhaps, right? Rupa. This should be protected speech. This is not a path we should be going down. Sorry. Tomorrow they'll try to censor those of us who support Israel. It never ends. Slippery slope. And then she blows it with, protection for free speech in Canada is extremely weak and selective. Just look at what happened to the Freedom Convoy. On the other hand, Khalistani extremists calling for the assassination of Indian diplomats and Hindus is crossing the line into incitement, yet nothing is done. She, everything but kitchen sinks it. At the end.
Well, free speech is not a thing to begin with, and I wish they would stop saying that. It's not a thing.
I know. We need to move on from that argument.
I know, but still, but it's misleading. Is my problem?
Yes.
It's like the people who think the Second Amendment is a right in Canada. Yes, the Second Amendment was for Manitoba to join Confederation. But history is important. Civics is important. Our charter is important, but you should probably understand what it means. But we are one of the freest nations on earth.
Yes.
Oh, look, we have somebody in the chat here who's I was there. Truckers Save Canada, Hong Kong to freedom. Hi, Richard Leclerc. I was there too because it happened on my neighborhood, on my doorstep. So guess what? They save nobody, they save nothing. I'm going to remain calm, cool, and collected. I will not go full blue jacket guy on you, but you, sir, are wrong.
You're also untethered to reality.
You are untethered to reality. It was never peaceful. Nobody had lost any freedom at any point in time.
And you never saved us from anything because we were not in danger of anything.
Exactly.
We have rights and obligations under the Constitution, and most of us fulfilled our obligations under the social contract to our fellow citizens by doing the minimum that we needed to do to make sure that other people could remain alive and healthy and whole. Some of us were
sir,
too
what's
weak.
Beautiful about people shitting in the streets?
Some of us,
what's beautiful,
Mr. Grizzly, some of us did what we needed to do. Some of us rode in the same direction as the rest of the team, and some of us couldn't handle being minorly inconvenienced and asked to think of other people but themselves for a couple of seconds and showed us how weak they are because they couldn't handle it.
Exactly.
You couldn't handle being decent. Mandates did not harm anything. Mandates kept people alive, sir. And the fact that you care so little for every other human life except your own, sir, means that you have not been isolated from society. You have not been set apart. You have not been specially selected for special exclusionary treatment. You have decided to take yourself and self-segregate yourself away from society by not being willing to do the minimum. So, sir,
yes,
you are out of order. You are out of order. And not on my watch.
Mandates were provincial. They were provincial, not federal. You were protesting in the wrong goddamn city to the wrong goddamn government. Now, every single one of you need to learn basic civics.
Now, sir, everything has consequences. You say mandates have consequences? Everything has consequences, including your decision to take the position you did, to not row in the same direction as the rest of the team. You just didn't like the consequences.
Yeah.
Too fucking bad. Now, if you would like to stay here, sir, and enjoy the show, and perhaps maybe learn something, you are welcome to stay. And if you cannot, if you just cannot, then you cannot stay here. You are unwelcome if you cannot be a decent person.
It's the capital of all Canada.
Yeah, it's the capital of all of Canada.
What does that mean?
Mr. Grizzly, it's the capital of all of Canada, but it is the home the personal residence of certain people. And as we've seen, because during the convoy commission, we asked you guys if you would be okay if it happened on your doorstep. And you guys said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I would have gone out and supported them. Well, it did happen at your doorstep. It's happening right now in freaking Saskatchewan in Richmound, are you? And who's running to, oh, True Daddy, hey, could you do something about this? Yeah, because you don't like it when it's at your freaking doorstep, right? It's the capital of all of Canada, but it is also the home of your fellow citizens who you decided to take hostage and show total disregard for. So again, sir, you are out of line. You are out of line. You are out of order.
Those of you, you might not be aware of this, Richard, but you need to understand something. The neighborhood that you took hostage, Centertown, it's the poorest neighborhood in all of Ottawa.
Okay. Let's,
by a large margin.
This is the last one from him. Government is broken and corrupt. No, sir, you've just tweeted about yourself. And I feel very, very sorry for you that you have such a broken soul that you cannot bring yourself to find the basic minimum empathy for your fellow human beings. Clearly, you do not want to stay here at the Beaver Lodge and accept our invitation to be decent and interact with other people in a respectful manner and maybe learn something. So, sir, I'm afraid your time here with us is up. We gave you a chance. You have showed that you just do not want to be a decent person. And decency is the rule here. So you got to go. Bye-bye. Mr. Grizzly, please show him the door.
Yeah, done. Blocked. Blocked on Facebook, blocked on Restream.
There you go.
If you can't be nice, you're gone.
I guess, and you're certainly not going to hijack our show.
No, absolutely not.
There you go. All right. So, Richmound.
Yeah.
Now, far be it from me, dear kitties, to say something bad about the lady who inspired Queen Beaver to find a crown and to adopt the call yourself a queen and net yourself some green moment. P.S. Send money. Well, it seems that there's a guy that owns school there. Well, the territory on which an old school was. And, well, it seems he invited them to come and squat and create a little cult compound there. Shades of Waco. And it seems that, well, Queen Romano Cheese of the Trailer Lady Kingdom and her little minions put out some edicts that, well, if anybody ever really objected, that there would be public executions because it's a peaceful movement.
Yeah.
So all these people here that are trying to get you mad at the people that may or may not be cheering for Hamas and executions or whatnot are also trying to get you not to look at what's going on in Richmond, where people who support their cause are actually calling for public executions.
There's some rich man in Richmound. I'm borrowing a lyric from Oliver Anthony.
Oh, man. I tell you, man. I tell you. So, I would not be surprised if that thing that's going to happen in Saskatchewan right now does not end with guns blazing. Because she is completely off her rocker. And she has true believers. Like very true believers.
Tim's comment here. I am against forced institution, but the Queen, as in Romana Didulo, is making it hard to argue. Some people need help and won't seek it. You are correct. You are correct.
And there is
PNC bio. That's sarcasm, folks. For those of you who don't get PNC bio's sense of humor.
The capital of Canada is wherever Queen Romana parks the QR1 RV. All hail the Queen. Can we send some hail her way too? Just there's a picture of her in a shotgun in the front seat of one of her RVs. Again, because it's a peaceful movement. Now, of course, they tried to establish themselves in a town and got run out of it and then went to another one like this. But they have a useful idiot that's willing to help them. So now they're settling in, just like they tried to settle in that church in Ottawa. that old church,
Yeah,
except
St.
that they didn't
Bridget's.
pay their bills and whatnot, and they got booted out. But this
Mm,
guy's offering them to stay squat there for free, so no such issues there. So,
yeah.
yeah, the mayor of that town is not happy about it, and it seems that all the people in the town are actually like they basically locked themselves in their house, and they they've locked themselves in their house, and they're according to the mayor, their heads are on a swivel on 360, and they're terrified. They
Yeah.
don't want to come out. They don't want to leave because they're afraid that one of these people will just get randomly violent. So
Well,
it
you know,
seems that when it's
let
on
us tell
their
you, friend.
doorstep, they don't like it. And again, making this very clear, I'm not saying the people of that town deserve that all the people of that town. No, it's not what I'm saying.
No,
But
no,
what I'm
not at
saying
all.
is that the people out west in particular, who's basically says, everybody agrees with us, are
No,
about
they
to learn
don't.
that they don't. Because the people where you
It,
come from are telling these people to leave.
well, it boils down to this. You got a few cheerleaders, and you think, okay, everybody wants to hear what we have to say. Everybody loves us. No, you're in the bias confirmation echo chamber. You think that's how it is, but it isn't. Take a step outside of your bubble and look at the larger world around you.
Yeah.
Millions of Canadians are so fed up and sick and tired of this crap. They're like, whining babies stop crying sooner.
Yeah. And you got Pierre Poilievre. He tweeted,
What's
there
he
is no
doing
place
now?
for the glorification of terror in Canada or anywhere else.
He brought them donuts.
You provided aid and comfort. Hamas's murder and rape of innocent Israeli civilians is despicable. Conservatives condemn the displays of hatred and justifications of cruelty that have followed the terrorist attacks against Israel. But the first sentence, there's no place for the glorification of terror in Canada. Really, buddy? Really? Really? From you?
Just
Of
don't.
all... zero self-awareness, man. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
now do the convoy in the Coots Fort, Prince Fuckwad. Because let's be honest, if the terrorists are Christian, cisgender, heterosexual, primarily male, Canadian, white, and donate to you, you're cool with them, aren't you? They seem to love you. They had the Pierre Poilievre for prime minister flags all over their trucks when they're there. There must be a reason for that.
Yeah, they had flags made.
But you
He wasn't even the leader.
yeah, but you condemn this.
Yeah.
And then the stupidest thing on the web yesterday was everybody claiming that government services and the embassy and all that kind of stuff were closed because before all this happened on the weekend,
They were closed for the long
they
weekend.
announced that they would be closed for Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So
Yeah,
then
the
everybody
Conservatives
was
immediately.
like, there were even newspaper articles and online articles, CTV and all of them like this. The embassy closed, people calling for the embassy to be open. The embassy was never closed because it's, if you know the minimum thing about civics, this when an
Yeah.
embassy is supposed to close for a statutory holiday, and before statutory holidays, the poop hits the proverbial fan.
Mhm.
Obviously, the embassy doesn't close.
There's always a minimum complement of staff on hand in any Canadian embassy anywhere on earth, period. There's always a complement of staff, period. There's RCMP for security. There is admin and leadership always on site. There is never a moment when the building is empty unless it's been abandoned, period.
Yeah. Now, and in a case like this, it's not just the skeleton staff. It's
No.
a big deal when something like this happens. And there are a whole bunch of services that kick in. And especially in this part of the world, it's not like this is our first freaking rodeo. Right? There are ways. These things are tabletop exercises. These things are gamed out. right? There are services. There are phone lines. Some people were directed to call a certain phone line in Ottawa, and everybody was saying, that's because it's close. No, it's not because it's close. It's because the people that are there have the channels and the connections to do it quickly. There's a lady named Sabine Nolke, who's a former Canadian ambassador, who was tweeting yesterday, "This is CPC partisan garbage. Embassy staff are working flat out. Calls, as always during a mass crisis, are channeled through the Emergency Watch Center, which works 24/7 and scales up at times like this to relieve local staff from phone duty. Get a grip and inform yourself." The standing operating procedure. And in a situation like this, not only is there staff, but they ramp up. They don't pull back, they ramp up. So that was like the stupidest thing, the absolute stupidest thing on Twitter yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And there are people that believe that. There are people that believe that literally, because we decided before this happened, as the long weekend was coming, that we were going to close the embassy because our staff at the embassy got the Canadian statutory holidays, that we would not reopen it up to help people. And that the Prime Minister would have a hot take with something meaningful within 10 minutes of it happening. It's insane. It's insanity. It's not serious.
Completely.
It's just not serious. All right. Mr. Grizzly, do we have Kit Hugh with us?
Yeah, he's ready to go. I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of something, and then we'll bring Hugh in right away. Just a quick screen grab from my appearance on Butch Patterson, Private Dick. This is a close-up of me passed out on a turntable as a DJ.
Oh, man.
And you can see me asleep here in the background. That's me asleep on the floor. And there's my buddy, Stuntman Stu, who wakes me up. I'm going to walk onto the screen and take a picture of the couple who just won. I got to take my headphones off. Yeah, that was This Stuntman Stu is when he first got to the city. This is from 1999.
Wow.
This is 24 years ago. Yeah. So watch. He's going to present them with the plaque for the winners, and I'm going to snap their picture and walk off camera. Look at how baggy my pants were.
Was there
It's
not
24 years ago.
Was there not a prize for you for staying up that long to spin?
Well, it wasn't actually a dance contest. It was at the St. Anthony. No, where was it? It was on Preston Street. There's the banquet hall, not St. Anthony's, but another one. I can't remember the name of it right now. Anyway, we were there at 7 a.m, got out of there about 5 p.m, did a full day shoot. It was supposed to take place at night. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cute and I would share it with you. So,
all right. Kids,
let's bring in Hugh.
this is, totally random here and off the cuff. But usually he has to teach in the mornings, but given that it's a holiday, we have him. So yes, you love him. Let's have Kit Hugh. Welcome, my friend.
How you doing?
Oh, can't hear you.
Your mic must be off. I think he's got a delay. Yeah, your mic's off, sir. Your mic is muted. Can't hear you. Well, we'll give him a sec till he gets her straightened out. Yeah, still nothing.
All right.
Just keep working on it, sir.
Keep working on it. All right. Darn. Okay. Then one of the people who was really pushing the embassy is closed thing was Michael Chong.
Yes, I saw that.
Once again, he shows us that he is sold out. Now
and every now and then I look at him and I go, "Guy, you're doing the right thing, awesome," and then you stop doing the right thing and you just.
So I like Mr. Didja. Yes, Douglas is queen. I'll just be queen. Give me my crown, darlings.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, Michael Chong put out a tweet. So normally when things like this happen, you're right, people will put projections on buildings or light buildings up in colors and all that kind of stuff, right? So you had these people going like, these people did it, CN Tower, do it now. This is not negotiable. This, and somebody made the comment, gee, isn't it amazing how the right discovers virtue signaling? So on the Parliament
Uh-huh.
Hill, we displayed the flag of Israel in solidarity. Michael Chong tweeted that. And there is a lady, if you look just below it, I think Maggie May.
Yep.
Yes?
Yep. Maggie May.
Please read it.
Oh no, you don't get to do this. You outright lied about the Canadian embassy in Israel. Sit down and stop talking. And then I love Blackfoot Lakota Warriors tweet. Thank you. Merci, PM Justin Trudeau. There, corrected your tweet, you fascist liar. Never vote conservative. Again, I like Michael Chong. He 9 times out of 10, he's a good person.
Mm.
But yesterday he just towed the party line like an automaton, just not even present.
So we
Yeah.
learned yesterday, because the CN Tower, you need to do it now. Now they're demanding. So that we realized that. So if it's for a cause the right supports, it's just the right thing to do.
Mhm.
But if it's for a cause they're against, then it's virtue signaling.
Yes. Well,
Life is easy
Cassie
when you're a
Lake's
conservative, isn't it?
Cassie's statement, progressive conservatives sometimes stand up like Chong, then get slapped back into line by the reformers. Look what happened to John Baird when he introduced Trudeau.
Uh-huh.
You're absolutely right.
I got taken to the witch head.
Yeah. And I know John personally. John is a progressive. There's some issues that I have with John. He's not a friend. I know him. So there's a difference, right? I know him. We've met a number of times. I had a friend who worked for him. I know him to say hello. That's the extent of it. He's not a friend, and I have some issues with him. But as a politician, he was a progressive in that party. Has to be progressive because
The
Right?
Overton windows really shifted.
yeah. But you're right, Cassie. There's still some progressives in the party, but not many. The reformers are trying to weed them all out. And Michael Chong is a progressive. Scott Aitchison is a progressive. And every time they stand up, they get slapped back down by the reformers. And it's a shame because they're trying to bring the party back to the center, which is where they always stood. They were center, a little bit left on this, a little bit right on that, but they were a centrist party. Now they're so far right, it's just beyond the pale.
Hmm.
And apparently, wait a minute. I'm told that beyond the pale is not a good statement to make, apparently.
Is it?
And yeah, hang on just a sec, Hugh. We'll see if we can bring you on here. Just a sec. I'll get to that statement in a sec. There's a lot of things that we say that traditionally we always thought were harmless, and it turns out many of them are rooted in racism. And I didn't know that. And I'm told beyond the pale also is. I don't quote me on that, but I'm told that is. You know the statement, the peanut gallery?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rooted in racism.
Really?
That's rooted in. Oh yeah. I found that out the hard way.
Okay.
Didn't know. The peanut gallery was when the movie theaters, the cinema was segregated in the U.S.
Mhm.
In the southern U.S. The balcony was where black people had to go if they wanted to watch a film. They had to be segregated in the balcony, which was further away. And white people sat in the lower, better seats where they had a better view. I personally always preferred the balcony myself, but that's me. But they called the balcony the peanut gallery because they were the cheap seats, and the only food they were allowed to eat was peanuts. So yeah, when they say the peanut gallery, it is rooted in racism.
I had
So let's see if we can
no
get
idea.
yeah, and I'm not 100% accurate on it, but that is the gist of it. It was my sister who told me that when she took a course on racial sensitivity, and the instructor said, that's insane, right? And she goes, well, like, no, here's why it isn't. And it's like, oh my God, the things you learn when you are willing to listen,
Mm-hmm.
pay attention, and actually learn. So let's see if we can get Hugh on here and see if his mic is working. Sir. Yeah, still nothing.
Can't hear you.
If you click on the gear sign, click on the gear sign, click on audio, and then click on audio input, and you should have a selection, and then click on audio output, and you should have a selection, and see what you got there. The gear sign, and you go to audio output and select something from that one, and then still not hearing anything. The cashew gallery. Always consider myself part of the cashew gallery. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mohan.
The macadamia nut balcony. Let's class up this joint.
Yeah, and this one, it's okay, Hugh. Keep working, brother. We'll bring you in when you get it.
All right.
Say this one too. I'm not even going to say it. You can, if you want to say it, you can say it. I'm not going to say it because I know the heaviness behind it. When you get ripped off, but it starts with the word G.
Yeah, gypped, being gypped. Yeah, that one has specific resonance here because my sweetie is Romanian.
Yes.
Right. So yes, he knows. He knows very well that gypped is where that comes from and why we don't use it. All right, let's see. We're gonna touch on the topic here, and hopefully Kit will be able to get sound.
But he's asking me to give him a call, but the thing is, I'm missing a specific cable to connect my phone to the board.
In order to patch him.
I don't know where I can't find the cable I need to connect my phone to the mixing board. I lost it the other day, so I can't give you a call, Hugh, because if I do, I won't. I can't connect the phone, so I'd have to hold it up to the mic, and that doesn't work very well.
Ah, darn. All right. Well, keep trying.
Maybe. Here's a suggestion, Hugh. Reboot.
Yeah. Just reboot.
Do a hard reboot and then come back in.
All right.
Okay. He's giving me the thumbs up in the green room.
Okie dokie.
So he's going to try rebooting and see if we can try that. Sometimes reboot fixes a lot of stuff when it comes to tech.
Okay.
And occasionally when working on technical support, it's like, did you try turning it off and on again?
Yeah. All right. So let's get into it then, because I've been stretching and now I've got nothing left.
We'll just get right into it.
After months of escalating tensions between Israelis and Palestinians, things went boom. The militant, I've gotten this data here from PBS. The militant Hamas rulers of Gaza launched a surprise attack on Israel, sending dozens of fighters into the nation by land, sea, and air. So it was pretty much a full blitz. Gun battles raged for hours in communities across southern Israel, and officials on both sides say that Israeli soldiers and civilians are now captives in Gaza, which complicates the matter immensely. Israel responded with airstrikes on Gaza cities, flattening Hamas offices and residential buildings. On October 7th at 6 p.m., our time, already 200 Israelis were reported dead and 1,100 wounded. Palestinian officials said that at least 198 Palestinians were dead and 1,600 wounded, mostly from fighting within Israel. Israelis sheltered in place as dozens of Hamas gunmen entered Israeli border towns. In fact, it seems
3, 4, 5. Still no sound.
Yeah, we have sound.
I hear you.
Okay.
Oh, you do? Hey, that's cool.
All right.
So just give us a sec, Hugh. I just wanted to make sure we had volume. So just give us a sec. Mr. Beaver's going to finish his thought, and then we'll get rolling.
Certainly.
So this led to thousands of rockets being fired into Israel.
We're getting a bit of an echo there. Sorry. Check your... Sorry, sir. I'm just trying to do the tech support thing. Keep going. I'll talk to him in the chat.
Yeah. Firing thousands of rockets into Israel and sending in an estimated 1,000 gunmen to murder and kidnap Israeli civilian soldiers. As of this morning, the death tolls had jumped to 700 Israelis dead, including 260 at a music festival.
Mm.
That's particularly sad because
Yeah.
they were there for a music festival.
Yeah.
It was mass carnage. Social media footage showed people dancing late into Friday before the attack in the early hours of Saturday. People are then seen running through an open field with gunshots firing in the background in a separate clip. It's something else. The Israeli-U.S. embassy said that women and children were among those captured and that several hostage situations are still ongoing. It's a bad situation here. The Biden administration has sent warships to the Eastern Mediterranean, boosting squadrons of fighter planes in the region and is readying munitions. The House in the U.S. may be called upon to send in new spending packages full of aid, but that can't happen because, well, the GOP decided to pull a stunt there, and now they don't have a Speaker of the House, so they can't pass anything until there's a new Speaker, and unless the Republicans are going to let their alleged love for all things Israel, and particularly Netanyahu, snap him into order to make the selection of a Speaker really fast. You picked a really bad time,
Yeah,
Matt
no kidding.
Gaetz, to have your mantrum. It's something. The Israeli media reports that civilians are sharing videos on social media of unprecedented scenes. Heavily armed militants are going house to house, firing machine guns under the cover of heavy rocket fire. There's also Hamas video showing how militant paragliders were able to circumvent Israel's heavily fortified border. Gazans broke through the border fence, separating the narrow strip from Israel, and Israel Defense Forces said that Hamas had kidnapped Israeli soldiers and civilians. Hamas confirmed that by saying it was holding scores of hostages in Gaza. There are unverified videos of Gazans purportedly stomping on an Israeli soldier's body, and Hamas militants capturing women and children, as mentioned previously.
Mm-hmm.
Since this morning, that was yesterday morning, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is quoted as saying, "Since this morning, the state of Israel has been at war." So, war officially here has been declared because the thing this planet needed more than anything else at this particular time is yet another war.
Yeah.
Our first objective is to clear out enemy forces. The second objective is to exact an immense price from the enemy. That's the part that scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are also not dealing with man, who has been the strongest proponent of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And we are also dealing with a man who, in order to save his own ass from jail, has made I will not say deal with the devil, but has made a deal with extreme far-right parties
Mm-hmm.
in his nation.
Oh, yes.
And remember, they were going into Gaza and building more settlements and expropriating people. I mean, this was already
Mm-hmm.
going on before this.
Oh, yeah.
And some guy that's very, very, very anti-Palestinian was made like the Minister of Defense or something like that, or the person in charge of leading all these missions. So, and he's also in his own country facing 10 months of consecutive nonstop protest because of changes he's trying to make to the judicial system that would give Parliament the ability to override the Supreme Court's decisions, which the people of Israel are not down with at all. They've been protesting for 10 straight months. So there's a lot more going on for him specifically here than just solving the issue. right?
Oh,
Being a
yes.
wartime prime minister is often used, or wartime president is often used as an excuse for, oh, well, you can't indict me now. I'm a wartime president.
Yeah.
We need me. So when he says that his second objective is to exact an immense price from the enemy, when he's got lots of channels to change, and he's made a deal with the most extreme elements of his government, of the parliament, that should send a shiver down spines, no matter how
Oh, yeah.
justified the response may or may not be. President Joe Biden said, when I spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning, I told him the United States stands with the people of Israel in the face of these terrorist assaults. Israel has the right to defend itself and its people. The typical stock line, basically. As Israel declared war, Palestinian civilians sought shelter. A Hamas commander urged Palestinians everywhere to fight. Quote, "This day is the great revolution day to put an end to the last occupation and last apartheid regime in the world."
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
right? It'd be easy for us to say, yeah, that's it. But I'm sure there were things that preceded that happening.
Mhm.
And then there were things that
Well,
preceded that happening. And that's the thing, is we're getting into a thing where there have been tensions that are going on for hundreds, maybe thousands of years between these people.
thousands of years. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's bring our resident history teacher in to shed some light on this and tell us a little bit more. Hugh, how are you doing, sir? Oh, and now your
No,
mic's gone dead
not
again.
again.
It was working.
I know that
I don't
face.
know what
I've made that
happened.
face.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, try again, sir. We had you operational. I don't know what happened. Did you mute it? Possibly. I don't know. Tech can be funny
All
sometimes.
right,
I thought that was a great segue moment. Let's for some further insight into
exactly, because I was just getting to some history parts. So I'll save some history part, and hopefully we'll get it when he's here.
hopefully.
Yes. Now, the leader of the opposition in the Knesset has offered the opportunity to form a emergency unity government with Netanyahu. Uh, he took a little dig while he was doing that, saying that the current extreme and dysfunctional government cannot manage a war, and therefore would probably need his tempering influence. Netanyahu has indicated that he's open to an emergency unity government, but not without those far-right factions that make it such that he can be the prime minister. So I'm thinking that's probably not going to be an acceptable starting point. So
No.
there probably will not be an emergency unity government in that case. The defense minister has ordered a complete siege on the Gaza Strip. No electricity, no food, no fuel. I'm not sure how that's going to reduce tensions. Airstrikes by Israel has hit hundreds of Hamas and Islamic Jihad targets, including command centers. They're still chasing down some militants who are still roaming within Israel. At the UN, there was an emergency closed-door session at which the representative from Israel stated, "They do not want dialogue. They do not want conversation. They want one thing and one thing only: the annihilation of the Jewish state." The Palestinian observer at the UN responded with, "You cannot say nothing justifies killing Israelis, and then provide justification for killing Palestinians." It's messy. The Global Affairs Canada confirms that its missions remain open in Tel Aviv and Ramallah, but that will be the case only so long as the security conditions allow, of course. Embassy staff has been working throughout the weekend. They've responded to over 400 inquiries since the conflict began. And of course, there's the other outside of Israel services to which people are being directed that have been ramped up, that have the ability to connect you even quicker with certain services, and because they have a fuller picture, and they're not located in the heat where things are going on, so they actually have time without worrying about what's going to go boom next to actually get things
directly
done.
from Foreign Policy Canada tweeted, since the beginning of this crisis, Canadian officials have been working around the clock to support Canadians. The missions in Tel Aviv and Ramallah remained operational through the weekend and will continue to be.
There you go. So why it is that whole bunch of Canadians that should have known better, and particularly the news media who actually publish these things, somehow this week seem to have forgotten that, yes, when something goes boom in a place where we have embassies or consular services, those remain open. And locally, we ramp up staffing to be able to help. I'm just... Civics, if you don't know how your country works, anybody can make you believe anything. Just is. Now, on the historical front, people are saying that this is unprecedented, but it's not really. It's not really. 50 years ago, in 1973.
Yes.
Something similar happened. An official is quoted as saying, "It's hard to overstate the shock and terror, quite frankly, that this coordinated surprise attack has caused. It's shaping up to be clearly the worst ever terror act on Israeli civilians, and also the biggest intelligence failure since the Yom Kippur War, half a century ago." So in 1973, it was Syrian and Egyptian forces that launched a surprise attack on Israel. These recent attacks came one day after the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. At a time where the timing on the international stage is that the U.S. House of Representatives doesn't have a speaker. At a time where the former president of the United States, it seems, because now we have confirmation. I mean, we knew it happened all along, but we didn't have confirmation. But now the news has come out that, yes, indeed, there was indeed dissemination of these documents, because having the documents in the first place was bad, and then being asked to give the documents back and say, no, I'm actually going to keep those, was worse. And then finding out that the documents had, well, nuclear secrets, and that some of them were national defense documents, well, that made it even worse. And then, of course, they tried to get the documents back, and then they moved them, which made them even worse, which is why he's in court right now, one of his many trials. And then we know that he allegedly showed some of those documents to people who were autobiographers when he was at Bedminster, which was very bad, because that would be dissemination if they actually got to look at them. And dissemination raises stakes, particularly if it's dissemination of documents that happen to fall under the classified or the defense secrets that you're not supposed to have. And what would be worse than that is if you showed those documents to a foreign national, for example. Well, it seems he showed those documents to a businessman from Australia. And it would be terrible if those documents had sensitive information, like, for example, how close you can get to boats, for example, to try and take down someone's navy. Okay, turns out it had information about that. And turns out that the Australian businessman then shared that information with about like 45 people. So whatever intelligence information was in that document is, well, we can probably safely assume that it's not secret anymore. Right? So yeah, we've got dissemination. But the only thing that could be worse, according to Beau of the Fifth Column, is if it was shared with a foreign national that was not of an allied state like Australia, but a hostile state. And I guess the only thing that could be worse than that is if you sold it and didn't just hand it over. So this is the context that this stuff is going on. There's a lot of people who are distracted.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of systems that are not operational. Oh, yeah, let's not remember also that we got that senator from Alabama, Tommy Tuberville, who's not allowing the U.S. military to be fully staffed. And now we have a situation like this where all these promotions didn't happen. And, well, seems the military might not be at his peak operating capacity. Military readiness might be affected at a time where Republicans, who are usually the first to make a really big show of supporting Israel unconditionally, are not able to do it because they can't manage and govern themselves. This is a mess.
Oh, yeah.
So our neighbor to the south doesn't even have a speaker, but people in Canada expected our prime minister to have a hot take within minutes of it happening. I'm just saying. It's exasperating, isn't it? Every
You'd
damn
think.
day. Every damn day. All right, Mr. Grizzly, that's pretty much all I've got on that for now. So we'll move on to other topics, and hopefully, if we are able to get Kit Hugh to come in and with his microphone functioning, we can double back.
Yeah, he's working on getting operational, so we'll see what happens there. I gave him a couple of tech support line items that maybe he can sort through and hopefully get a signal. He was having connectivity issues along with audio issues, so we'll see what happens. Maybe he can jump in, maybe not.
Yep.
But,
Now, something interesting happened with this because yesterday, about 13 hours ago, I tweeted something. But I didn't know how it was going to land. But I said, somebody tweeted something and I retweeted it. So it was the pro-Israel lobby is well prepared for this. We're watching in real time as politicians, businesses, even sports teams are being bullied. That's their choice of words. Bullied into pledging unflinching and uncritical support for Israel, zero nuance or sympathy for Palestinian life or freedom tolerated. And I said, a take on it? Because sometimes I will do that when people have takes on something, whether I agree with them or not. Just one side, and I'll just put a take on it. This is what one side is saying, without any comment whether or not I support, I endorse, or not. This is just what's out there. So I put a take on it. Like the Nazi in the House of Commons or the India Punjab things, I don't possess the historical context and nuance to discuss this matter intelligently, even less to provide an instant hot take. All I know is that the world doesn't need yet another war. And there's somebody, Sassy Sally Ann, I don't know if you're watching, but said, this is my take as well, but you put it into words that make absolute sense. Thank you for stating this perfectly. I absolutely agree. And it's like, wow, it touched me. So I thanked her for sending me some kindness because, if you dare to stick your neck out on a subject like this, right? And particularly if you're saying, well, while all of you are rushing in to say Israel good, Palestinian bad, and then that's all there is to it. And the person that wants to say, I don't know enough to comment about this, and I'd rather wait till I know a little more before I commit. Those people often get their heads decapitated. Figuratively.
Yeah.
Because they're wishy-washy and they won't take a stand. And so it was nice that the first response was that. And I said, if more people admitted when it was their knowledge was limited and made a choice to listen more in those moments rather than talk, this world would be much calmer. So it was really nice to see a few people, and then a lovely lady named Peggy put a plus 100 there, and so it's really nice to see some people um, being happy at an expression of temperance when everybody is. Listen, I know that this is a subject depending on where you sit in your life, your family, your friends, your history, your background. Um, one side is probably going to resonate more with you than another. And then
Oh
you get
yes.
all this complexity. You got these people who are, pro-Israelis, pro-Palestinians, and hate both of their governments.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are people that are making distinctions between the people and the governments. There are people that are not. There are people that are lumping everyone in the same group. If you're Palestinian, you are a terrorist. Period. All of you are terrorists. I guess it's impossible. Because, that you're not. There's the possibility that there are some Palestinians that are just happy. Oh my God, we finally stood up for ourselves after that. Don't support massacre and all that type of stuff, but just like finally we stood up for ourselves. Maybe, and conversely, on the Israeli side, there might be people going, "We've let this go on for 50 years. Finally, we're doing something about it. It's about damn time." You're going to get everything under the sun. Everything under the sun. And there's so much history and context and messiness. And you did this to me, and I did this to you, and we did this to each other, and you must pay. And I'm doing this because I'm seeking revenge for the last thing that you did. Or maybe the thing that you didn't do, but I assumed that you did. So I exacted my revenge first quickly. And it's a mess. The Middle East is a mess. It's not easy. The first one to rush in with this is all good, all bad, there's so much. We have a Kit typing in some Kit Hugh typing in some comments here, saying Israel is apartheid. Palestine has been genocided since the 1948. If there was a 3 there, I missed it. Palestine
No, there wasn't.
is not one entity. It's been colonized like Canada. First Nations, Métis and Inuit folks see the clear parallels there. Anytime First Nations, Métis and Inuit folks stand up, they get smacked the same way.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. Everybody's coming with their background, their historical knowledge, how they relate, right? And Hugh says this is not a historical religion issue; it's completely political and racial. All right. I really wish we could have you, Hugh, in person to speak with your voice. It's going to. Hugh is good on this topic. Cheers, Hugh, says Kit's PNC bio. All right. Gaza is the most dense place on earth. He says. So I'm gonna. I don't have much more to say on the subject for now, so I'm gonna move on to another one. Kit Hugh, if you're writing, please supply more, and we'll try to come back to them at the end of the show and then read them in for our audience at home. All right, Mr. Grizzly, do you happen to have something else?
Well, I've got a couple of things here, but I don't know. See, I have a link that I posted it in the chat. It's from Lisa B, but it's a 10-minute video. So I don't know if we want to air 10 minutes of her video, but I posted it in the chat earlier today. And it's about the Save the Freedom Children convoy thing. It's a 10-minute video. What do you think, sir?
No, let's not do 10.
It's too long. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Give me a chance to watch it, and I might find a section of it that I can bring on another day.
I'll send you a direct link to it. So just give me a second here, and
especially 10 if we've not seen it first, because
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
although
But it's Lisa,
although
so I
everything
wouldn't
she
be too
does,
worried.
yeah, exactly. It's like buying a
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
yeah, it's like I always
That's not a concern.
yeah, it's not a concern. To me, I always say it's like buying a Eurythmics album. Like when they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
putting it out, you didn't need to hear a song. You just knew the Eurythmics had an album. You go buy it, you knew it was going to be good. It was just
Yes, period. Yeah.
there was a base level of quality that had been established.
I think you could say the same thing in modern times for Greta Van Fleet or Taylor Swift or Morgan Wallen or any number of artists. You know, it's all killer, no filler.
Yep.
Is what it boils down to.
Sarah McLachlan's like that too. Every time I get one of her albums, I just
I have my issues with her.
yeah. But every time I listen out from her albums from beginning to end, there's not a song I skip. I just put it on and I listen to them from beginning to end. They're just beautiful works. All right, kitties. In the U.S., because that whole speaker thing is going around, it seems that the orange one has decided to insert himself in it by endorsing Jim Shorts Jordan for speaker. It seems that it's going to come down between Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise, if that name rings a bell, he was the guy from the Republican Party who happened to be shot at the Republican Democrat baseball game a few years ago.
Oh, yes.
Both of them are very hard right. Steve Scalise, I believe, has been caught a few times saying some white supremacist-y stuff, like maybe not understanding why it is that the term white nationalist is bad or something like that. I may be mistaken on that one, but I think so. So it'll be between those two. There's another person there in the mix as well, but it doesn't look like he's going to get any play. So now we have a situation once again where because Trump has put his orange finger out and tapped someone and endorsed him, whether or not the party's going to go for it. Now, of the two, the person that would have the better temperament for a speaker, again, this is not saying much because they're both completely right-wing wingnuts, is Steve Scalise, because Jim Jordan is basically an internet troll account with a microphone and a gavel, if he would be a speaker. Steve Scalise has a bit better ability to control himself, or at least give the appearance of not looking insane and a little frothy at the mouth. And he's much less breathless than Jordan is. But no matter who it is that they pick eventually, they're still going to end up in a situation at one point where in order to pass something, lest the full faith and credit of the United States go up in smoke, we'll have to make a deal with some Democrats. And, well, there are a certain number of Republicans for whom any deal of any kind whatsoever with Democrats for any purpose whatsoever, even if it was to save all of the babies in the world, even if the Democrats were going to vote for a full abortion ban, they would say you made a deal with the devil because you dared to vote with the Democrat. It must be 100% total fealty or loyalty, or you get excommunicated. Exhibit A, Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, this is not going to end up very well. But it seems that they will, the voting will, I think the earliest voting can start is Wednesday on this type of thing. So, hey, we'll see what happens. But unless the GOP can get its act together big time on this, we might be looking at another multiple round voting because there's just no loyalty in this faction. There's just none. There's just none. All right, let's see what else it is. Also in the United States, Senator Dianne Feinstein passed away at the age of 90. The end of her career was a little sad. because she seemed to not have her
Her faculties.
full mental faculties and recall, which led to a couple of embarrassing moments and a lot of pressure from people trying to get her to resign early, and she could not see a reason for which she should in the moments where she was more lucid. It led, and then of course at one point she got taken out of circulation for a while by a bad case of shingles, which stopped some legislation from being able to go through the Senate, particularly on the Judiciary Committee when it comes to appointments of judges. Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of the state of California, because in these cases, when a senator dies, they don't have a by-election right away. They actually, the governor of the state appoints someone to fill the seat until such time as a by-election can happen. And he had promised, he had gone out on a limb a while ago and saying that if ever Senator Dianne Feinstein should pass away, that he would specifically nominate a black woman to fill the seat. Now, the competition for the Senate seat is going to be one of the fiercest competitions in U.S. electoral history, because there are at least 3 names in the running, and all 3 names are very, very well known. There's a lady named Barbara Lee, who is black and has a long career. There's Katie Porter, the lady with the whiteboard.
Yes, and she's kick-ass.
Total kick-ass. And then there's Adam Schiff, who led some of the inquiries, the January 6th inquiry. 3 powerhouse names, all 3, who, if they were running in 3 different seats, could all win individually, competing against each other for that seat. It's going to be quite a race. He decided not to nominate Barbara Lee in the interim, and instead chose a lady named LaFonza Butler, who is the leader of a group called Emily's List, which is an organization that actually seeks out women to run for seats and then gives them support that they need in order to be able to establish themselves as candidates and run a campaign. She is the first black woman and the first member of the rainbow community to represent California in the Senate. Kamala Harris did swear her in. She has experience working with one of the largest labor unions in the health sector in California, and also some gig industry tech experience with Uber and Airbnb. It seems that unlike in Canada, when someone's named as an interim leader of a party, for example, it's usually because they are not going to run in the leadership. It seems that if she wanted to, she could run for the seat, even though that she's interim. It's not a condition. She has not decided yet whether or not she wants to. She'd be entering the race a little late, and there already has 3 very prominent candidates, as we pointed out. But as the leader of Emily's List, she's extremely well connected and would have no trouble finding the funding or the backing or the support. Whether if she decided to do it, it would just be a very, very, very rapid effort. And if that did happen, it would probably, I don't know, ruffle a few feathers.
You think?
Particularly with supporters of Barbara Lee within the black community. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with this one, but it is going to be a very, very, very interesting race. So if you're a bit of a political junkie, keep your eyes on that one. Dianne Feinstein had been laid in state at City Hall in San Francisco. She was the first female mayor of San Francisco, and she served 3 decades in Washington. And probably one of her most famous moments is that Dianne Feinstein, when she was at City Hall in San Francisco, she was the one who announced to the public, I believe that it was the mayor and Harvey Milk, who was the first openly rainbow person elected, I think, to a city hall or to a city. If I don't know if he was elected to city hall or if he was a commissioner, but the first one to be assassinated. She was the one that delivered the news. If you love, they were showing her, playing historical clips, and she was the one that had to break the news, and that's the moment where she basically was catapulted onto the national and even international stage. Yes, it's it's a big loss historically. I mean, they always say he was a lion of the Senate. You could say that she's a lioness. I guess with the appointments and the committees that she had, she was always on the key ones, and her. I think I'm not. See, this is the thing. She probably went out the way that she wanted, fighting and serving until the end.
Just should have left a little bit sooner.
Maybe. But then again, you know what? We all get to decide hopefully decide our own exits.
Yeah,
So
no, true. But I mean, she did not have full control of her faculties at that point. And I think it kind of taints her legacy, if you will.
Well, it's almost like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? A bit at the end, right? It's like people were asking her to go earlier to make room, and she's like, no, I feel fine. My health is good, even though she was at an advanced stage, and well, we all know what happened.
Well,
all of her life's work has pretty much been wiped out.
Well, and this is the reason she was trying to stay, though, right?
Right.
Because she knew what was happening.
But when she stayed the first time, right, you have to be very, very confident at that age that you will be around to see it through. Now, of course, we have the caveat, of course, that anybody could walk out on the street and get hit by a car on any given day. Yeah. But had she made the decision to step down at the time where Obama was the president, we might have a slightly different situation.
Yes,
not guaranteed.
Well, remember what was the testimony that we've aired on this show from the what was the name of he was he's still a preacher, but he no longer belongs to the organization. Yes. When he said, we'll get you this, but you're getting the whole enchilada. You're going to have to take everything.
Shank.
Yes.
Robert Shank, yes.
And he talked about how, we didn't realize the kettle of fish that we dove into on this one, because not only they're going to strip women's right to make a medical choice, but they're going to strip every right they can. They will roll back same-sex marriage. They will, and they've already floated the idea of eliminating birth control. Not just abortion, not just the morning after pill, but birth control altogether. Like, they want to roll back the clock to, I don't know, the 1920s or something. When men were men and sheep were nervous. Oh no, that was in Scotland. When men were men and women were barefoot pregnant in the kitchen. Sorry to my Scottish friends. Those of you who have a sense of humor will get the joke, because it's an old one and I'm an old guy. There you go.
Oh,
I was just helping them over the fence. That's all.
Not like that. There is something interesting going on with the Roman Catholic Church. They have a synod going on that will last about 3 weeks, where they will be discussing many issues ranging from women's roles to the LGBTQ plus community for Catholics, and climate change. The Pope is on climate change really taking the position that what are you doing to God's creation?
I've noticed that, yeah.
If you love God, you might not want to do that to what he created. You know what? Whatever message works,
that's your belief structure and your belief system. Yeah. Maybe you should,
It's an askable question.
Mhm.
The Pope opened with a mass in St. Peter's Square and issued a call to put aside liberal and conservative divisions. I'm guessing that's within the church itself, and to remake the church. He said, "We are not here to make a political rally. We're here to walk together with the gaze of Jesus, who welcomes those who are weary and oppressed. Come, you who feel far away. Come, you who have closed the doors to hope. The church is here for you. The church has opened doors to all, to all, to all."
Mhm.
That's where he wants to go. The Synod will not be making any binding decisions, but it's already making history because for the first time, non-clergy and women will be able to vote on the proposals that are there. And
That's a first.
yes, it is a first. And it seems that the Pope has also made a public statement that while the church is still not supportive of same-sex marriages, will not perform them, if a gay couple would like to be blessed, that can happen.
Wow. This is good. This is good.
It's a step.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is.
It's a step.
I'm
I
sure there's
certainly
going to
didn't see
be
it
many
coming.
people within the hierarchy in the organization who will vehemently oppose that. But it's like, okay, well then I thought you had listened to the teachings of Christ, love all.
Yes, but that then hence his call to put aside liberal conservative divisions within the church, right? With these things.
Mhm.
But yes, if the church is going to open the doors to all, to all, to all, then you kind of have to do a thing or two to show them that once they walk through the door, it won't be slammed right in their face.
Yeah. Well, who was it? We both follow Reverend Daniel.
Yep.
On the Twitter.
Yep. Cool Rev.
Cool Rev. Yeah, he's Anglican, is he not?
I believe so. Yes.
Married, a gay man.
Yep.
Not in the closet.
Definitely not in the closet.
No, definitely not
He's
in the
all
closet.
kind of
I'm going to say Anglican, but
fabulous.
I say Anglican, but he might be United. Either
Yeah.
way, Christian, if you will.
One of the more tolerant
and
denominations.
incredibly tolerant, and I follow him because I like what he has to say.
Yes.
And of course, Reverend Michael Corin also. We've had him on the show. We interviewed him. Real nice guy. And we did even discuss how, both you and I said, there was a time when we weren't really fans of yours. And he said, fair enough. Yeah. And it was, and we did, and I failed to remember, he did tell us his sort of light bulb moment. And I'm blanking out on what that was right now. But he did tell us that in the interview. He told us point blank.
Told us that he had, started having many, many conversations with people that were, in couples and unions, and was realizing what the true effect of that was. So I can't call myself a Christian and stand for that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's really come around, and we're fans of his writing. He's always been a great writer. Even when I really disagreed with a lot of the things he was saying, I couldn't deny his ability and skill set as a writer, because he's always been a great writer. But he has completely changed his life when he saw that, that some of the things that he was saying were based in hate.
Well,
and that's not Christian.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a man that has gone from releasing in February 2012 a book titled "Why Catholics Are Right."
Yes.
Okay, to releasing just a few years ago in 2021 a book called "The Rebel Christ."
Mm-hmm.
So, and then previous books, right? Reclaiming Faith, Inclusion, Grace, and Tolerance. And then his book, probably this is the one that most people were interested in its change, called Epiphany, A Christian's Change of Heart and Mind Over Same-Sex Marriage.
Well, it's in Linda's quote here on the screen. He didn't just have a change of heart and mind. He now actively lives to reverse the damage he did before.
Yes.
He is living social justice.
Yes.
He really
that
is.
is a
he really is trying to. It's true, because he's been trying to do it. When he realized the damage he did, he wants to reverse it. And he is way more tolerant of the haters than I can be. He is way more patient and way more tolerant. I don't respond anymore. I just walk away.
Yep.
So I mean, I think I've grown in that respect. I don't respond, especially when so much of it I've come to the realization it's just bait. But his response is always one of kindness and be well, which I've started doing to people too. It's like, well, thanks, thanks for watching. We appreciate your viewership. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Instead of responding in a negative manner, I respond in the most positive manner I can, which I think will only make my life better personally, if I'm capable of that. So it's like, yeah, let's respond positively, because positive messages put out to the world just make the world better.
You do. Got a couple of little quick ones for you. Not too much development there on them. But we were talking about Barbara Lee earlier, and I was wondering about something because the name sounded familiar for another reason, and I wanted to double check it, and it is the case. According to Political, it was Lee who, in 2001, stood alone in a bruised and angry America to oppose post-September 11 warfare.
Oh,
That vote was like something to 1. Whatever it was, like a huge amount to 1. She was the one
wow.
who said, no, we don't do this. This is wrong. I'm just saying. She's the daughter of an army officer, the sole member of Congress to oppose the war authorization for President George W. Bush. Since then, she has repeatedly sought to roll back both that decree and the Iraq-specific measure in 2002. Lee has kept the debate alive by regularly forcing votes when she can in committee on the floor, and gradually support has ticked up, with lawmakers of both parties growing weary of America's longest war. That was an article written in 2020, so things have happened since then. But yeah, it just, I was sitting there going, Barbara Lee, is that the lady? And so yeah, I looked it up and yep, sure enough, that was her.
Wow.
U.S. soccer star Megan Rapinoe,
The one dissenting voice. Oh, yes.
has played her
What about
final
Megan?
game on the
Oh,
U.S.
she's
squad.
retiring?
Yep. After 2 decades on the national squad, she helped win 2 World Cups and an Olympic gold medal. When she announced her retirement from the national squad, she had 3 more games in the National Women's Soccer League regular season to play before fully retiring. Rapinoe says that she'll continue to fight for women's rights and equal pay. So there we go from that. There have been 2 world records set very recently in the marathon. At the Berlin Marathon a few weeks ago, an Ethiopian runner named Tigst Asefa shattered the women's world record by over 2 minutes.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah, a full 2 minutes and 11 seconds. She covered the 26-mile course in 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 53 seconds. And here's the thing. Asefa only started running marathons last year. She was a middle distance runner. A middle distance runner. 1,500, 3,000 meters.
Wow, that's crazy.
She went from that to 26 miles.
40K.
Yes. The previous
40,000 meters. Wow.
Yes. The previous record was set by Brigid Kostke at the Chicago Marathon in 2019 when she completed the 26-mile course in 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 4 seconds. And then today, I think it was on the news just this morning, for the men, there was a new record set by a man from Kenya named Kelvin Kiptum, who broke the world record and he's getting it quite close to the under 2-hour barrier. He's listed as 23 years old, and he broke his countryman's Eliud Kipchoge's world record of 2:01:09 set at the 2002 Berlin Marathon. And he ran it, let's see. Where did they put his time? Kiptum has run 3 career marathons all in the last 10 months and posted 3 of the 6 fastest times in history. 2:01:53 in Valencia, Spain last December, followed by a 2:01:25 in London in April. He has supplanted the 38-year-old Kipchoge as the world's best marathoner. That's funny. They won't put. You'd think that they put the time that he completed the marathon in by how
So
much
he
he
broke the
broke
record,
the
but didn't.
record. It's like right up top.
Wow.
But did not. And that's NBC Sports, by the way,
Hmm.
which is kind of weird. Here we go. Go. I should have just gone to CBC. 23-year-old beats old mark by more than 30 seconds with a time of 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We're going to see an under 2-hour marathon in our lifetimes. That's going to be as epic as the 4-minute mile when that happens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If not
No,
more so.
absolutely.
That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Wow.
So this thing on the screen right now, just this is from Cassie Lake, a farmer in Manitoba, says, "Group, I listened back to previous podcasts and realized I misspoke. Farmers have relief on carbon tax,
Oh,
on fuel for trucks and tractors, but not on natural gas or propane on heating buildings or grain drying." So thanks for that correction, Cassie. We appreciate
yes,
it because
really.
it's not our area of expertise, right? And it's just the relief on the natural gas and propane is stuck in the Senate. So who knows when that'll come.
Mm,
But thank you, Cassie. We appreciate that. As a farmer, as somebody who keeps us fed, we do appreciate your honesty, A, and B, helping to keep us informed as well. So thank you very much for that.
yep. Thank you. We really appreciate it because again, facts first, right?
Oh yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we want to get it. We thank you. And Cassie, I don't know if you were on the show the other day, but thank you for that very, very generous tip. We are quite grateful. Thank you so much. All right, let's find more stuff here for you. Also from the sports world, the Canadian men's national volleyball team has qualified for the Olympics. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, it looked like they were running right to it, and then they played against Belgium and had an uncharacteristically bad match, and ended up losing it. And then it's like, darn, like the women, they're going to miss it by one spot, or might have to rely on points. But they needed a combination of a Belgian loss to Bulgaria, who in the team was lower ranked than Belgium, and a full 3-0 win against Mexico, which fortunately for Canada was one of the lower ranked teams. So Canada did do its job. It got its 3-0 victory against Mexico. But the Bulgaria Belgian game went to a full 5 sets. And the Bulgarians pulled it out 15-13 in the 5th set. It's like, thank you, Bulgaria. Thank you for overperforming.
I'll have to reach out to a friend of mine who's from Bulgaria. She's Canadian citizen, but she's from Bulgaria, and her mom used to work for the ambassador. Give her a call and say, thanks, eh?
Thanks, eh? Also, Liam Drexel, who we talked about last week, who had won a tournament in tennis, made it to the final the next week. Did not win his final, but 2 finals in 2 weeks. That's pretty good, young man.
Yeah.
So he's inching up to the top 400 in the world with that win. So good for him. Like I said, our tennis players are really something else, especially the next gen. They're really coming up fast. So congratulations to him on that achievement as well. Let's see, what else have we got here? We were talking about food as well on the show before we left.
Food.
Yes, because of food pricing. A man named Michael von Massa, who's a food economist from the University of Guelph, came out and gave his take on the agreement made with the grocers. It says that it's very confusing because we had sort of concluded maybe this might be a little more performative than anything else, really, because grocery stores already have price matching things and that type of stuff going on, right?
Price fixing,
matching,
right?
Yes. Now it seems that how would I put it?
Just put it. Just put it, man.
One of the reasons for which this seems not to be as solid is because everything seems to be a little fuzzy. So, for example, we don't know what are the benchmarks against which we are measuring to see if price is going down. We don't know what's in that basket of
Right.
food. Now, François-Philippe Champagne is going, well, we gave them an objective, and how they reach it is their business. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's not like they all agreed that, all of us are like taking 50 cents off the price of milk and $1 off the price of eggs, and doing the same
Mhm.
price. So, so they say like one grocery store might, discount eggs one week while another one discounts meat, while like this, but overall, like, and it's for the consumers, like, to, do, compare prices. Well, that's also already what we do and already what happens. So, what changes there will be really? Not sure. Again, is this just putting a frame around the fact that food inflation prices are already going down and everybody's saying, hey, look at the good job we've done? It could just be that. The changes to the Competition Bureau, however, are more interesting. And Competition Bureau legislation, giving it the power to subpoena, for example, when it's doing investigations. So those are interesting, and those are concrete. Those will probably be able to make a difference. Now, we can usually expect prices to go up in the winter a little bit because in the winter we import more. And
For understandable
yes,
reasons.
and where the grocery code of conduct that was being suggested is concerned, that focuses primarily on the grocer's relationships with its suppliers. So
What does that do for the consumers? Nothing.
yes. Now, I mean, there are price points all along the supply chain, right? With
Of
shipping and
course.
inventory, and then the food suppliers and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe there are some ways to work with with the Pepsis and the Coca-Colas and the Mondelez and of the world in order to get prices lower in that sense. But Von Massa,
They won't do that. Their shareholders demand a larger dividend check each quarter, so they're not. It's not going to happen. It's greed. It won't happen. It won't happen. They don't care as long as they get a bigger share for each shareholder during each quarterly meeting. That's all that matters. Once it dips, they freak out, say fire people or do whatever you have to do to get our profit margin back up.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything else. Period, and they never will.
Now, von Massow says, quote, I don't think the government can have a lot of impact. Multiple factors have come into play, and because we're sort of having this perfect storm of price pressure, it means there's no silver bullets. There's not one thing that's going to bring this down. We're not just going to make food inflation go away because the grocers are suddenly more competitive.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the government gets more blame than it deserves in many cases, and more credit than it deserves in cases when things go well. And in this circumstance, I'm not convinced that food prices were affected by any government policy at all. These are fundamental supply-based issues that we've been struggling with. So again, Pierre, the carbon tax, all that, that's what's making it so that you can't feed your family. This guy's just called bullshit on all of that right there. Or Justin Trudeau's inflationary policies. No. Now, about the bread price fixing thing, interesting. I did not know this, but it seems, according to him, that there was a finding in the bread quote. Yes, there was a finding in the bread price fixing thing, but that was in bread companies, not grocers. Loblaws was the one who brought it forward. Western Bread Canada was the other player.
Mhm.
This wasn't the grocers, so might there be things going on? Yes, but again, there's no evidence that the grocers have been complicit here. Thus far, no one has shown me data to say that yet at all.
Interesting.
And this guy's a food economist.
Yeah, he follows all the pricing, the trends. He would know more than you or I would ever know because it's his job.
Yeah, but I found that
He's an expert, and I'm going to use Pierre Poilievre's words against him. The common people are not experts when it comes to this. Experts in their chosen field are the experts.
Yep, indeed. Let's see what else. There's no, that's the PBS stuff. I already got that. Oh, also more Canadians that make us proud. For the first time in 20 years, Canada will have full Olympic squads in both men's and women's artistic gymnastics. The women secured
Okay.
their Olympic qualification at last year's World Championships when they won the bronze medal in the team event, which was the first time Team Canada had done that. This year, I don't know if they sent an up and coming team to give them world experience, given that they had already qualified. But the team finished much lower than third this time around. But they had already had their qualification secured. So, right, it would be a time to send people to get other experience if needed. Ellie Black, who had won the all-around silver back in 2019, made two team finals and the overall final. She didn't have a great all-around competition, unfortunately, but she did qualify for event finals in the vault and the uneven bars, where she finished 5th in the vault and 8th. For the men, it was a big achievement. As a team, they finished 7th overall, which allowed them to book their ticket to the Olympics. René Cournoyer, who's been with the team for a few Olympics now. I think this will be his third one. So he's been carrying the men's team on his back for the last few years. Finished 12th in the overall individual final, which is pretty great. And a young man named Felix Dolce, who's 21, made an individual final on the floor exercise. He's a junior world champion in 2019. Junior world championship silver medalist in 2019 and a Commonwealth Games medalist, and he finished 5th in that final. 5th is not a bad number to be at about 1 year before the Olympics. 4th, 5th in the
Yeah,
world.
going into Olympics game.
Like
That's
this,
pretty
if
good.
you have some momentum and anything can happen. Floor
Hey, look,
exercise.
Penny Alexiak.
You take a little step out, off that little line. That's 1/10 off. Do that a couple times. Suddenly,
Penny Alexiak, when she went to the Olympics and won her first gold medal at the age of 16, was not expected to even finish the race in the top 8.
Yeah.
She wasn't even expected to be in the final. But as it turned out, and then watch out for Summer McIntosh, who is going to, between Summer, Maggie, and Penny. Wow.
and others. That girl
Yeah.
Sophie that was swimming that swam the
The
two
young
best
up-and-comers.
swims of her entire life at the World Championships to get
Yeah.
that medal in the relay.
Yeah. So you just watch and see what's going to happen. The women in the pool in this Olympics are going to be kicking some serious butt.
And don't forget Josh and Ilya and
And Josh Leando he could very well pull off a gold medal.
yes, and that other guy,
Or two.
yes, and that other guy who's named just Ruslev, I think, or Ruslev or something like that.
Yeah, he came right out of nowhere too.
Well, he had missed the qualifications in the individuals because of COVID, so he swam on the relays and boom.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. It could be a very interesting summer games.
Yes.
So, sir, shall we wrap up?
Yes, we can wrap up. I got one more Canadians who make us proud because and also sorry, yes, and the Pan American Games are coming in Santiago, Chile in September, so that will be the next multi-sport before the Olympics to help Team Canada warm up. A sport that we don't hear a lot about in Canada, cricket. The men's national team was participating in a qualification tournament to participate at the 2024 World Cup, which will be hosted by the United States and West Indies next June. And they were playing against other nations in North America to qualify for the spot that was remaining. And in their first match, it was home and away series with 3 other nations. In their first match against Bermuda, they had a disastrous match and lost. They won their next 4, leaving their final match against Bermuda, and it had to be a must-win. And win they did.
Cool.
In spectacular fashion. Now, I do not know anything about cricket, so it's kind of hard for me to say what this means because the over and how many wickets and they're but Canada won by 39 runs on that one, 132-93 in that match, which was a very nice comeback for Team Canada, because I believe when they lost against Bermuda, it was by a lot more than that. So they finished tied with Bermuda with 4 wins, 1 loss, and 9 points. But on the head-to-head, and they had split the head-to-head. So on total runs scored during the 6 matches, uh, the offense and the defense for Canada was good. Out of all the teams, they had the best offense by a lot, scoring 217 runs more than their closest rival. And on defense, they allowed fewer than 500 runs in the whole 6 games. So they scored 847 and allowed 457 to be scored against them. That's a big spread between offense and defense. So I'm going to guess that that's
I
really,
don't
really,
know.
really good.
I honestly don't know. I remember when my friend Rion was trying to explain cricket to me back in 2001. A match came on. It goes, 147-0, close match. I'm like, in what world is 147-0 close? But in cricket, that is
That's
close.
what I mean. So I don't understand the scoring at all. But kiddies, this is a big moment, and I've written to the good folks at Cricket Canada to ask if anybody would be willing to come and give an interview so that we can celebrate their good fortune and find out a little bit more about that sport, because it's probably going to be gaining in prominence in Canada.
Well, and speaking of interviews, we've got a few coming up. I'm not going to say who. We're going to have an actor coming up soon. We have there's somebody I've been in touch with who works on multiple federal government files, who will come on the show but will not be seen on camera, and I'm going to have to disguise that person's voice for obvious reasons. We need to maintain a level of anonymity so that this person is not harmed in any way, shape, or form by speaking the truth about things that many of us don't know about. And there's a couple of other things we've got in the hopper that we're working on. We'll see what we can do to bring them to you as soon as possible. But yeah, we've got some interesting things coming up in the near future. So the interviews will be recorded; they won't be live, but we'll stream them on the morning show, so you can watch it at 7 a.m. as we always plan on.
Yes. Before we go, also we had Kit Hugh had 2 extra comments, because I promised I would read them in. I fear deeply this is going to turn into the Warsaw Ghetto liquidation. 10. As no one recognized the state of Palestine, their declaration of war is window dressing. They've been mowing the lawn for decades.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
All right. Mr. Grizzly, as we mentioned, I think we have a show. Yes. All right. This is the end of this Thanksgiving Day Gobblefest 2023 episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. We hope that you love listening to us, because we loved making this for you. We really do. Hey, we even work on stat holidays for you.
Yeah, we don't get paid for it. There's no double time. There's no overtime. There's nothing. There's no money.
We just like shaking it for tips. There you go.
I got nothing.
We just, hey, if you got, shake them while you got them.
Sure.
Because sharing is caring, and you have the mouths from whom we want the good word to come from. Please use those beautiful lips, those vocal cords, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, to spread the good word about what goes down here at the Beaver Lodge. Yes, tell everyone. Tell your peeps and poops. Tell your moms and dads. Tell everyone. And because democracy, yes, because democracy is something that you do. Pen to paper. Write your MPs, your MLAs, your MPPs, your senators demand better. And if you've got a little bit of change jingling in your pocket that you can spare, remember our brothers and sisters need help. Donate to the Red Cross, please. If you would like to not miss an episode at all, let's say you're new to these parts and wondering, gee, these guys are good. How can I make sure I never miss an episode? Well, the Ray Girl has got you covered. Yes. that little squiggly right under me. If you scan that with your phone, that's our QR code, which will bring you to our pod page. That's podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words, if you are listening. And that way, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we'll come straight. No, sorry, not straight. We don't do things straight. We'll come gaily forward to you. Since you like subscribing to things because you're keeners and we love keeners, we have the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page where we have not one, not two, but because all we do is give three full buttons for you to smash with. We have like, we have share, we have subscribe. No,
Subscribe being the most important
yes,
one.
and not necessarily in that order. Hey, how you fly your freak flag, that's up to you, man. But smash away. And if you love our product and would love to encourage us to do more, well, there's another squiggly on that page if you're watching. It's right by Mademoiselle Fox's beautiful face, and that will bring you to our coffee page. Now, if you are listening, that's coffee spelled ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And that's where you can make your contribution to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund, where Guinness and Caesar and Cafe and Chocolat Chaud are waiting for us to help us write, produce, market, deliver this product for you that you love so much. So make like some of the members of the best damn fam in all podcasting and drop by our tip jar and leave a little donation there. We would really, really appreciate it. Everything goes back into the show, of course. All right. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying it could be a tough, it could definitely be a tough world out there. We're at war again, for the love of. So please, please, please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And given that there's a lot of Canadians that are probably feeling some really big emotions right now, if you have the ability to be the calming influence or the person that doesn't jump off the bandwagon, jump off that fly off the handle, be that person because, we could use a lot more calm right now. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom? Oh,
Yeah, Bridget wants to say some words of wisdom.
okay.
I'm taking over. Douglas, that was such a great connection to what I wanted to say because I think we all need a bit of levity. So these are not my words, I'm quoting them. But if anyone wants to watch something hilarious or listen to something hilarious.
Closer to the mic.
Okay, bossy.
I'm a producer.
Follow the rules. Check out the Dead Dog Cafe on CBC, the back issues. And so, and it's an Indigenous led program. And what they always say is stay calm, be brave, and wait for the sign.
That's the sign. Because that dude could point.
That's the sign.
Thank you.
We've established that. That dude could point. All right, Mr. Grizzly, please, some words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom on this Thanksgiving Monday. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you're able to celebrate that with friends, family, or loved ones, whomever that may be. Sometimes the family that you have is the one that you make and not necessarily the one you were born into. For obvious reasons for a lot of people. If you do not celebrate, that's cool too. I hope you get to spend some time with somebody or someone that you love and care for. And if you're like me, you're going to tune into the Ottawa Red Blacks Montreal Alouettes match at 1 p.m.
Oh, today at 1 p.m.
Yeah, it's an afternoon game. They're in Montreal. There's a part of me that is tempted to drive to Montreal to see the game, but it's like, it's just not in the budget. The drive there and back, I can afford. The tickets, I can't. So,
okay.
You know,
man.
how life goes sometimes. I mean, here, it's kickoff is at 1. It's 9. I can be there in 2 hours because it's just Montreal. I could be there about 11, but yes. The tickets to an Al's game in Montreal on Thanksgiving Monday. It'll be a sellout, and yeah, I just can't. I can't swing it. I wish I could, but you know, life sometimes deals you a hand that you have to play, and unfortunately, this is one where I have to check.
All right. Well, I guess, Mr. Grizzly, we roll the credits.
Indeed, sir.
Okay. Whoops. And your sound is gone. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. All right. Kids, I wanted to I couldn't believe I had just forgot to mention it all day today. But PP did something really interesting for Thanksgiving.
What?
He had put out a tweet comparing turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
He compared the cost of a Thanksgiving turkey under the Conservatives in 2015 from Loblaws to a cost of a Thanksgiving turkey from Loblaws today in 2023 under the Liberals. And, well, first of all, the Conservative turkey was a frozen turkey. The turkey to which they compared it from the Liberals is, quote, fresh grade A turkey. So a frozen turkey to a fresh turkey. The frozen turkey was on sale for $1.49 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Save at least $1.80 a pound. So regular price, that turkey would have been $3.29 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
The turkey in 2015, the 23 turkey is $2.49. The 2023 turkey is $2.49 a pound.
For fresh.
Yeah. So what they did is they took the sales price, compared it to the regular price. They compared a frozen turkey to a fresh turkey. And then they said, oh my God, 8 years and a 67% increase in the cost of turkey this Thanksgiving. Justin Trudeau's not worth the cost, says Pierre. But if you put the turkey at regular price, not the sale price, which is $3.29, and then you use the just right there, it's more expensive than the 2023 turkey, was at $2.49 a pound. And then you go to the Bank of Canada
CPI
inflation
calculator.
Well, that $1.49 a pound turkey in 2015 that the Conservatives, it was really a $4.10 pound turkey today.
So it was more expensive.
It was more expensive before adjusting for inflation. So the turkey today under Trudeau is literally, that Pierre says is 37% more expensive, is literally about 30% cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's fresh.
But don't let facts get in the way of, painting the picture that they want people to see. Speaking of, I got something I'm going to put on the screen here just before we go.
Okay.
This is from our favorite former lobbyist, Rainbow member, who also Melissa Landsman. Outrageous comment from a Canadian MP unwilling to condemn the brutal, indiscriminate attack by Hamas terrorists on Israeli civilians. He deleted this, replaced it with nothing because he can't bring himself to denounce terrorism. Omar Al-Gabra tweeted, I'm falling with deep anxiety what's happening in the Middle East.
And go figure again that the Conservative Party sent the Jewish lady out to attack the brown man with the Muslimy name.
Yeah. And you read what he wrote. I'm following with deep anxiety what's happening in the Middle East.
Well, he didn't come out and say Israel good, Hamas bad.
Yeah.
Or Israel good, Palestine bad, actually, because
I've
Hamas
had
is
it with
not
her.
Palestine. But
I've
yeah,
had it with her. I've had it with her.
She-
And here's the part she doesn't get. This is the part she doesn't. She's either too dumb to realize it or doesn't care. Is that Reform Party will throw her away like yesterday's newspaper the moment they're finished with her and find her of no more use to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, she used to be the director of CIBC Capital Markets, so we know it's about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is secondary.
Indeed.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
folks.
Thanksgiving. Sorry to hit it on a downer.
It happens sometimes. Eat your
and
turkey,
remember-
get your nap in.
And remember, conservatives can't math, and the guy who says that he wants to be the next prime minister of the nation, who considers himself a financial genius, can't tell the difference between a 67% increase to the price of turkey and a 30% discount.
And also isn't security cleared.
Yes.